Welcome to Kick Him in the Head, a podcast that takes an inside look at the world of mixed martial arts, featuring interviews from some of the top fighters from South Africa and around the world, with a focus on the EFC and UFC promotions. I'm your host, Yao. Join us as we delve deep into the techniques, strategies, and mindsets of these world-class athletes, learning from their experiences and getting insights into what it takes to succeed in the toughest sport on earth. Welcome to the Kick Him in the Head podcast. Thank you everyone for joining. And as always, we have an absolutely jam-packed, amazing, exclusive MMA interview for you. Today, I'm speaking with the one and only Shadrack Blambee Nsua. Coming off his victory against Nsua Cold Steel at EFC116, he's now jubilating and celebrating this win, coupled with a very intense stare-off at the end of that with the new EFC Middleweight champion. Everyone, help me in welcoming the one and only Blambee back to the Kick Him in the Head podcast. Blambee, good evening. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm good in you, brother. I'm perfect.
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for making the time for us tonight. Really appreciate it. I know that obviously, you came off your camp just last week. You had the fight last week. You've been traveling a lot. But yeah, congratulations on that win. Can you talk us through your mindset, coming up to the fight now, having won, like how you're feeling about your career going forward and how everything's going for you right now?
Everything's good. Everything's good. Like I did say on the press conference as well before the fight, I was like, a lot of people kind of thought I would have carried the last the fight against Isaac, into this fight. But for me, I'm like, I was like, nah. The fighter lost. We moved on from it. We knew why we lost the fight, and it was on to the next job. And it was good. Just for me, it's long overdue just to get back in the cage and to do what I obviously enjoyed. Because I told Cesar, I'm like, I wanted to come back, and I want to come back in a special way. So and like speaking to the coaches, speaking to basically all the staffs, and they just wanted to expose Kulukani's weakest point of the fight, which was on the ground. So it was good for us to expose him on obviously on his weakest part of the game and utilize it in a most flawless way that we could have done it as well.
Yeah, and I think if we have a look there, we see you in the finish against Kulukani with the ground and pound, holding him there, and there you are celebrating. And we see you here, very jubilated, very excited. Since then, how's it been? How's your family taking this win? I know obviously your dad was there with you at this fight, so you obviously had your very close family around you for this fight. So how's it been since then for them with you back in the win column?
It was good because obviously they're not used to this thing, they're not used to this game, and for them it's like coming out of a loss. They backed me up as much as they could, but you could feel the energy. Obviously, me coming up to this fight, it was a bit intense on their side because they were just worried in the back of their head, thinking about obviously the last fights as well. So it was good to kind of calm everything, get them to be at ease. So after that fight, and like everybody was quite happy, and it was a good thing to see, especially from their side, how happy, and because they actually celebrated it way more than I did, which was actually quite interesting, which was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to have the support of family in such situations, especially when you have, after the fight, this happening, you facing off against the one and only new EFC middleweight champion, Luke Young Gun Michael. So having your whole family there, and there you are, now being announced as the number one contender for the middleweight title. How are you feeling about that?
For me, like, look, like I said, it's no disrespect to the man. I don't intend on disrespecting a man. For me, I don't intend on disrespecting an athlete, and I don't intend on disrespecting Luke or his wife or his family or anything that he does. You know, I'm not taking anything away from him. It's for me what I felt in that fight and what I saw is it wasn't impressive to me. So I can't be like I'm impressed at him taking Yaku Duplessis. No disrespect to Yaku, is a good fighter, but you take a guy out for 5 rounds and you can't finish him. That's for me. It shows your weakness as well. It shows where you're lacking. And in a level that he is, you can't you can't be in that scenario where you're taking somebody for 25 minutes and not doing anything good with the takedowns. So yeah, it's a fact that I've, like, my coach asked me before they walked out or before we even walked out to go fight. He asked me, he said, "Would you like to fight between Yaku and Luke?" I said, "Look, um, his style of fighting is good for me. It works really well for me. Um, Hopefully, obviously, he's more explosive than he think he is because in the wrestling games, it comes to who's more explosive and who's more dominant in the technical part of it. So I wish him a good camp. I just hope he stays up in the middleweight and doesn't want to, because he doesn't push that welterweight shot. Because for me, I don't care if he's going to go to welterweight as long as he defends his belt first and then he can go.
So, speaking of Luke, I hope that's your connection, not mine. Blambee, are you still there?
So
Blambee,
it's
have you
telling me a
gone?
lot about the type of person that he is. Disrespect to him, but um, yeah, I just want to throw down with him, and my fingers are crossed that he signs a contract and he accepts to fight.
So, we spoke to Luke 2 days after the fight. And what Luke had to say was that he thinks you still need more experience in the game before you can actually shoot for the title. Uh, he thinks you've had good performances, but you're not on his level. You guys are on different levels in terms
That's
of
that's
what you're bringing
that's
to the
that's
table.
that's what makes me uh, laugh, if I would say, because if he thinks I'm not in his level, he can take this fight with both hands and smash me. Why doesn't he want to take it? That's the question. Because I know he's not in my level. That's why I want the fight. Because if he thinks I've got one more fight before the title shot, then why am I number one contender? Then he should be that one more fight. And if he beats me, yeah, well, good luck going down to welterweight and go get the second belt. But there's a big if he doesn't beat me, and he knows that. Deep inside, he doesn't have to lie to himself. He knows that he will not beat me, and that's the reason why he wants to duck down to 77 and go fight for that belt. And I don't care if he wants to go down there. For me, I just want the belt that he has in 185. And regardless of what he thinks about me, I don't really care. I just want to get in there with him because he's the champion and I'm next in line. All he needs to know is that. So his thoughts in this, he doesn't make the rules. He doesn't make the call. He's a champ. He's a fighter like me. His experience means nothing to me because what I saw that night shows me everything. I've been in a game with guys that are more experienced than him. I've trained with guys that are more experienced than him. And so whatever he's thinking, whatever his thoughts are about me, it doesn't matter. For me, he's the man with a target. He's the man that I want because I'm the number one contender. And as the number one contender, unless he's injured for me to fight for the interim belt, he's next in line to defend.
Now, you mentioned the welterweight title. And as far as the picture goes, from what Luke said and where he's interested, is that he wants to go first for the welterweight title. And I do hear you that you want the middleweight title shot before he goes down to welterweight. But his goal is to be the best. His goal is to be a double champ. So let's hope you can get that fight before he goes down to welterweight. But thus far, it looks like welterweight is likely going to be where he heads to
For
first
me,
before he comes for the defense.
for me, for
If
me,
if that's if that's the case that you have to take another fight, who would you want to fight? I would think
uh,
maybe Yako, but who do you think would be a good matchup?
Yaku. Because like I say, no disrespect to Yaku, no disrespect to Yaku's team, no disrespect to that. He's a good man, but for me, If Luke think is on another level, I want to get in there with Yaku so I can do what Luke couldn't do. You understand? And I want to tell him in his face, there, I did what you couldn't do. You understand? But other than that, it doesn't make sense for me to fight Yaku as one contender because I know very well that Luke wants to duck. And he can say whatever he wants. He can speak as a brave man that he think that he is because him next to me speaking to Yaku and me speaking with him on the mic gave me a lot of information on the type of person that he is. And I understand him already. He still has a lot to learn mentally, and that's the most weakest weapon that he has in his arsenal.
It's definitely going to be an exciting fight. I think the words that have been exchanged so far, definitely there's a lot of friction in this fight between you and Luke.
Yeah.
One thing he did say is he said, listen, if I've got the experience and I'm the champ, the challenger should have some respect. So I think for that reason, you guys are definitely going to go head to head in this one. And that's very exciting for me as a fan to watch you guys go head to head and come with that passion. Because when fighters come with that passion where it's like, listen, I've heard what you said, but this is a fight and I've told you what I'm going to do. Those fights are always amazing. So I'm definitely looking forward to having that fight happen sometime in the near future. Blam, just to change tack a little bit, we have this for you. Fight. Oh. Kick him in the head. Fighter quiz. It's our fighter quiz. Now, don't worry, this week's one is even far easier than the rest of them. We have two completely different questions for you.
Okay.
First question. What's the craziest thing a fan has requested from you? Whether it be in DMs or in person, but they're like, hey, listen, Blambee, I want...
My underwear is I was like, nah, it's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah.
I'm curious, how did they request it?
Yeah, they were like, mate, I'm gonna ask you for the most weirdest thing. Like, can I have your gloves? I'm like, well, gloves are gone. That was like, I think my second or third fight. And they were like, okay, shorts. Can I have your underwears then? I'm like, dude, you skipped the shorts, bro, and the shirts. You want my... You could have asked for the shirt, the shorts, and then skipped all that from the gloves to the underwear. I'm like, nah. That away every day. I can't give it to you. Yeah, we get some really weird things there. Very weird.
That sounds like an interesting life to be requested to give your underwear.
Brother, yes, like the gloves are understood. You can go to the shirts, the cap or something. This man, he went straight there. yeah.
Now, we know that you're also a very big MMA fan. Now, there's obviously been there's UFC 305 coming up. There was EFC last week. There's UFC. But my question for you: Fighter of the week. Fighter of the week. Who is your fighter of the week? There's been a lot of fights. There's even your fight. You could be your fighter of the week. But from the MMA world, all the fights you've seen, even boxing, who is your fighter of the week? Which fighter for you is doing it and making you take interest in MMA outside of your career?
For me, it's always been one of my close friends, Eliezer Kubanza. But
King Kong.
Good friend. Eliezer Kubanza, the King Kong himself. Look, man, he's going to Algeria to represent. He's gonna fly the mother flag, the flag, and I've got faith because that man he's been putting in the work. Like when I was in camp, after my camp, when I was in Johannesburg, I was still keeping an eye on him, talking to him, and he's a very dangerous man. And let me tell you one thing, that man is is a problem. And like I've got a good friend of mine in Shadrack, very talented, and if it's gone toe to toe with this man, and they're basically 1-on-1. And let me tell you one thing, Shadrack is a beast. So for you to go 1-on-1 with him, first of all, you gotta be on some level yourself. So Eliezer definitely is one of the guys to look out with, and the fight of the week for me, because of the work he's been putting in and the preparation he's been putting in for Brave 85 coming up now.
So for those who don't know, Eliezer King Kong Kubanza is a fighter who fights out of Brave CF in Bahrain. He is, I think he's currently fighting at super welterweight. He's one of our favorite fighters. He got a head kick win in his first fight in Brave. We've been following him for a long time. We spoke to him before Brave 82, where he was supposed to fight, but unfortunately his opponent was like 8 kgs overweight and then still pulled out.
Yo.
I mean, you're 8 kgs and you're the one who still pulls out.
You're the one pulling out, yeah. Jeez.
It's insane.
Tells you of a beast.
It tells you the man that you're dealing with. The president of Brave, Mohammed Shahidi, even told a story about how Eliezer Kubanza and at that time Nkosi, the future Ndebele, were training at Soma out in Indonesia, and they completely cleared out the gym. The middleweights, they beat everyone. There's no one else to spar with because that's how intense these guys are. So yeah, that's an absolutely phenomenal pick for fight of the week. I'm excited about his fight this coming Saturday. Like, I'm really looking forward to it as well.
Definitely.
Shad, Big Shad, thank you so much as always for the time. Really appreciate it. Where can people find you in the socials? Please drop your handles.
In the socials, as usual, you'll find me on Shadrack_Blambee. Facebook, same thing, Shadrack_Blambee. Twitter, same thing, which is X. Yeah. Shadrack_Blambee. And pretty much on all the platforms, TikTok as well, Shadrack_Blambee.
On all socials. To everyone listening, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always at HeadKickPod on all platforms. If you want to comment, make sure, tell us who you want us to talk to. Tell us what questions you want to ask the fighters. We are here. We are listening. Big Shad, as always, at the end of the show, you know what to do.
Yes, sir. You're going to kick him in the head.
Let's go.
That's what's up.
Right. Kick him in the head. Thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it. And we will speak to you again soon, Chad.
Shots for that.
Salute.
Away.